Hello everyone. You can still do Would You Rather questions after this, but they will not at least be in this volume or video of Would You Rather, but I'll try to answer them. I have not read through any of these, so once again, I will have to blur out certain ones if they're not appropriate, but I will answer them in Discord, so I will keep my promise on that. Now, let's just get into it. There's not much more there, other than please like, subscribe, and comment down below as per the usual. Thank you. Here we go. Would you rather add a new roaming boss, or a new character, or a new building? I think Darkest Dungeon had a lot of good characters and buildings. I don't want to really get those too muddy, but I think a new roaming boss would have been pretty awesome. I know things from the stars exist, but I mean that's pretty brutal. And Fnatic was kind of a roaming boss, so there'd be a good chunk of them. But new character, there were 17 unique ones in building. Not exactly sure which mechanic you could have done, so I think just one more boss, maybe like Cove specific would be really cool, or even it was specific to the Weald, kind of like how there's the Lumberjack mod and the Things from the Abyss mod, I think. So I think I would definitely do a roaming boss. That's just me. Alright, would you rather change some characters in Darkest Dungeon 2 or keep them as they are? Alright, all shown at the moment. I would get rid of, I would want to bring my boy the Crusader back. I'm trying to think of all who I see currently. Man, that's a tough one. I do like the ones they have shown currently. I would almost want to say the Jester. I would say get rid of the Jester, bring back the Crusader. I like the Jester, but I'd rather see the Crusader currently. Who would you rather have? Oh, sorry. Would you rather have Butcher's Circus or co-op in Darkest Dungeon 2? I would love to have Darkest Dungeon 2 co-op. Butcher's Circus, if they gave up on it like they did in the first one here, and I understand this first time around was purely what's it called? Experimental. So I didn't really expect them to change it, but I don't really trust them to continuously update things, come with new trinkets, balance the meta. Multiplayer games are very difficult to keep balanced and keep interesting all the time, but I feel like the co-op would definitely be endless fun with people, so I'd rather see a co-op. Would you rather go 4 Vestals or no healers? Vestal, Cultist, Heartless, Crusader at all. If no healers, how would you do it? Oh, man. 4 Vestals. The only problem with that is you got heals for days, but I feel like you're going to get just decimated by, like, ghouls and other, I mean, yeah, gosh. I mean, I know they're unholy, but, I mean, Skull Tosses, Howls. You could do you would have 3 chances at stuns. 4 Vestal party might actually be decent in the ruins. I've actually done party with no healers. It was, what is it? Bounty Hunter, Highwayman. Oh, who was the other one? Man at Arm. I've done a couple of parties where they didn't have heals. There's not many characters who actually don't have a small heal. So it's actually kind of difficult to not, because the Houndmaster can heal theirself, the Hellion can heal theirself. Obviously the Leper can heal theirself. So, ooh, I'd probably do no healers on a short dungeon, but above that, I would go with 4 Vestals. Alrighty, we're back. Sorry. Would you rather rework Bleed so it won't be a worse blight anymore, or giving the burn status an extra effect, for example? Oh, okay. I think I would like to give burn a status effect. I think that'd be cool. I think it'd be something else to put on there. So I definitely look forward to a status effect on burn. Bleed and blight are useful, but I think having that little extra, like, hey, once you get someone on fire, they reduce their accuracy or their criticals reduce or something like that. That'd be kind of cool. So, would you rather add the Runaway to on Darkest Dungeon 1 or the Musketeer to be finally... Okay, sorry. So Runaway in Darkest Dungeon 1 or Musketeer to Darkest Dungeon 2, I think how I'm reading that. Yes, I would rather have Darkest Dungeon 2 have the Musketeer, on the sense that it would at least be, like you say, actual useful character. The Arbalest and Musketeer are obviously like the same character. So splitting those two up would be nice. The Runaway to Darkest Dungeon 1, I mean, Darkest Dungeon 2 has 11 skills, so trying to take that down to 7 and then only equip 4 with a burn mechanic, I think it'd be very hard to retrograde back to the first Darkest Dungeon. but I think the Musketeer getting her own spot in the new game would be pretty awesome. Alright, I'm back. Here we go. Would you rather kiss the leper on the mouth without his mask? Here we go. Or the Abomination transformed? Oh man, trying to kiss the Abomination while transformed would be a most daring task, as I feel like that is a rather large face. Oh man, I want to answer these quickly. I would have to say leper without the mask, because either way you're gonna get teeth, maybe, probably, but it's just a matter of which teeth you're gonna get. But yeah, I understand that, so let's give that a thumbs up. What the hey, I never named the rules to the game, really, so you can ask whatever you want. Would you rather fight both the Shuffling Heart and the Prophet at the same time, or fight both the Hag and the Siren? Oh my gosh, I'd have to pick. Oh man, I mean, now mechanically, how would I like the idea? I'm just trying to think mechanically how that would work for the Hag and Siren, because they both take up 2 spaces and they obviously both take individuals. But like, how would the game put them? Theoretically, I'd probably want to fight the Shuffling Heart and Prophet at the same time, only because if the Hag and the Siren could still take 2 people, you're fighting like a 2v4 the whole time, then with summons. Pretty sure the Hag and Siren combo, if it was able to work, would just decimate you. How would I beat the Shuffling Heart and Prophet? Probably an Arbalist with Flare. Well, yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, I definitely have 2 shield breakers in there just because they can essentially pierce from any row. I'd have 1 Highwayman in there because we're opposed, and then probably a Vestal. Only because the Highwayman, the 2 shield breakers can essentially function. They have protection, piercing, and could hit the back row with pierce. And then obviously the Highwayman could riposte the Shuffling Heart. I don't know if it would win in the end, but that's how I'd attempt it at first. Because obviously you have to handle the shuffling. If it was just a regular Prophet and someone else, it'd be different. Which Hamlet stress relief activity would you rather have a minigame for? I mean, I think the easiest one would be obviously gambling. It'd be like a poker. But which minigame would I prefer? I mean, it'd definitely be in the tavern, of course. I feel like the penance halls and all that stuff would be maybe slightly boring. Well, you could maybe come with some fun stuff, but nah, screw it. Would go with drinking. See how many drinks you could, like, see if there's mini games to, like, see how long you can stay sober or something. That'd be amusing. Ooh, would you rather add the Falconer or the Counterfact to the base game? I think I would have to say Counterfact, solely on the fact that it would reduce the hugging of the Vestal the whole game. Counterfact is it's somewhat comparable to the Vestal in terms of heal, but you can only do it in position 1 for the AoE. So I think it's still fair. I think the Counterfact can offer decent damage as well, and does obviously have that single heal. Another hero that was not the Vestal, I think, would be amazing. I did like the Falconer. I just think the Counterfact would just kind of naturally push Vestals out a little bit, which I would have preferred, at least in my opinion. Oh, someone wants the Abomination right there. All right, hey. You do you. Okay, I'm going to do a couple of these, and then what I would do... Okay. Screw it, we'll try to do this real... with 1 less skill. Okay. Do a run with 1 less hero in all your parties. Ooh, that gets tough. 3v4s is brutal. Play a run where you can only pick up gems and collect your items. Okay. Play a run where gold is king and baubles has seen lost value, so you don't bother picking them up. Either no gems. I mean, it really depends on where you're at in the game, because I could probably do that one. Play a run where you can't use healings. Oh no, that would be a no. Play the run having to use all the skills at least once in combat before you reuse them again. Oh, that'd be pretty difficult, because I mean, not everyone can use all their skills from certain positions, so you need a lot of shuffling. Play a run where you can only play official teams. You know, that... Alright, I think that might be the winner. Play a run where you need to go either full... Okay. That's definitely doable. Where you can't kick anybody out. Oh, no, you gotta dismiss them. Play a run where you can... where you can only have 1 of each hero at a given time if 1 dies. You can... I pseudo play along that line, but not really, because once you obviously get to duplicates, you have to do duplicates. Alright. I thought about doing this one until I saw official party teams. I would rather do the official party teams. I think there's actually a lot of good parties out there that are named, and usually when I recommend parties, I give you names because they're easier to remember. For example, such as Mark and Bark, Usual Suspects is a good team. Crimson Hand, and oh shoot, what was the other team? It was really good. Obviously, I forgot. I know Blood Drive's not a bad one. And I just did the Scorned? Yeah, I think the Scorned or something. I actually like that team, so those are about 5 or 6 parties I would recommend right off the top of my head. I'm sure there's a lot of others I'm just not remembering the names on, but definitely that. Would you rather A, the Countess have HP lowered? Ah, man, I don't know that low. But the Fanatic can appear in missions with just one curse hero in your party. 12. Oof. Or the Fanatic doesn't not exist, but the Countess HP. Oh my goodness. 600 to 6. Because the problem is she already has about 600 to 650 after she heals. So if she starts at 600 to 650, that's like 800 to 1000 XP depending on how long that fight goes. Oh man. I'd have to pick A, the Fanatic showing up at a 12 to 15% rate. That's pretty brutal. But if I don't take in Cursed Heroes, I can at least avoid the Fanatic. I eventually have to beat the Countess if I want to finish that. And her rocking at 600 to 650 HP, no way. I'd probably get party wiped every time. Would you rather have more tentacles or cat girls in Darkest Dungeon 2? I mean, to stay on my motif here, always more tentacles. If Red Hook asked for your help in Darkest Dungeon 2, would you rather design your own class or design your own bosses? I don't think my skill set would be very good at heroes. I feel like I'd make some really bland heroes, but I think I'd have some fun boss design. So I'd just have to design some bosses. I would argue maybe I'd make one in the aquatic area. It may resemble an eldritch like squid of some sort. I don't know. I'd really have to think about. I'm not sure where I'm getting that eldritch squid inspiration from, but I'd probably design my boss on that. I'm not going to lie, there's going to be a little skip in the video because I did not know what the word canonical meant, I think. I'm so great at pronouncing words. All of you should totally never question how I say a word. So who should be the canonical slayer of the boss? Man, I feel like the Crusader's a nice one. I have to go kind of easy on this. It'd obviously be the Hierophant Crusader. They're the first 2 characters, Dismas and Rendell, towards the end of the game. At the end of the day, coin toss. Dismas is in Darkest Dungeon 2, so let's have Rendell to go out in fashion. Rendell going out in fashion and killing the final boss of the game. Would you rather have restrictive mechanics back, like religious characters not teaming up with abominations, or more characters with personal events like Shieldbreaker? 1000% more personal events like Shieldbreaker. I personally never played when there were restrictions, like the Abomination one. And yes, it would make you do different parties or camping or stuff, but I feel like that did limit a little bit on the creativity of the teams you could make. But the personal events are really cool. So Highwayman, for example, could get like a roaming encounter where he has to face old friends, or the Plague Doctor has to fight certain enemies to like do medicinal research. I don't know. I would much rather have each character, or at least a few character, have a personal event rather than people not be put together. Would you rather fight Man-at-Arms, Stress Comps, and Butcher's Circus for the rest of your life, or do a playthrough with only the 4 starting classes, not heroes classes? Oh man, I mean, I partially feel like 80% of my time is Man-at-Arms, Stress Comps already. Well, it's kind of a cheap shot. I would do Man-at-Arms, Stress Comps for the rest of your life. I can at least avoid Butchers. But if I was to pay Butchers more readily, I would argue Mark comps are actually very good against Man-at-Arms Stress comps. You can usually mark someone down and obliterate them pretty quickly. The problem is I don't personally play a lot of Mark comps, so I usually don't have the opportunity to do so. But there's definitely a couple of comps out there that just trash the Man-at-Arms. Super annoying, but you can trash them. Yeah, someone else agreed with me here. Yeah, like I said, I'm too vanilla. Nah, leper cultist, yeah, that's fun. Would you rather be the guy who sends his unpaid employees into dungeons knowing that they could die like in the game, but in real life, or one of these unpaid employees who might horribly die in a dungeon. So wait a second. Would you rather be the guy who sends his unpaid employees into the dungeons, or one of these? Okay. That's a tough one because if those unpaid employees happen to come back alive, figure out they don't get paid, I am very dead as that guy not doing the paying. But depending where we're going, oh man. Yeah, I mean, it's really trusting how much I think these people suck and they would die. I would say make me... Ooh. You know what? I would say the guy who sends in the people unpaid, because at the end of the day, if they found anything, you could be like, you know what? Nah, you keep that. Now, that might be breaking the unpaid rule, but if they are going to hold me at gunpoint, you know what I mean? Sorry, my dog is barking. We're going to have an audio skip. So I read the next question a couple of times, and I'm going to try to... So would you rather have some gambling between people who fight in Butcher's Circus? So I'm assuming like you would watch two individuals and you say, I will put X heirlooms gold, and that would then translate to your campaign. Very interesting. I like that. And if my other option is make more missions for the Darkest Dungeon, I'm personally always going to lean towards buff up the single player mode. I do think that would be interesting though. You know, like you queue up for a random game, you're in the crowd and you bet X 1,000 gold or X trinket, and you get like, if you bet a rare trinket, you get a rare trinket back. If you bet a high tier one, you get a high tier back, or something like that. That would be very interesting. But what do you got? You got collect, find, battle, and explore. And the collect and find are only within medium, which means your short and long dungeons are obviously whittled down to just battle and short. So if they could find a way to do like, I know it's kind of battle / collect, but in a way, if you're like, oh, there's two roaming characters in this game and you got to take them down. So they could be a hallway fight, which is kind of like a curio. I think that'd be a little more interesting on the sole fact that like you can find all the curios in the hallways and not take fight, but at least these would be fights and they could also be unique enemies. So I think that'd be kind of cool to add like find the two hounds in the game or something. That'd be pretty cool. Alrighty, so all your comments from YouTube, I just threw them in here under one big generic comment. If I missed yours on YouTube, my apologies. Let me know and I'll try to answer it on YouTube, but I think I got most of them. So there's a lot in this first one. I'm going to do a couple, but like I promised, I will answer the remaining ones just so I can. All right. In Butcher's Circus, would you rather pick a cultist or a jester? In Butcher's, oh, that's a tough one. I really do like both. I mean, if I had to get rid of another one, I feel like out of principle, I have to pick the jester so I don't get dodged, cheese comped, or so I can just hit. But I do think there's a lot of fun potential for the occultist. But if it is like for the rest of my days, I would pick jester. A long dungeon to wield. Would you rather pick Hellion with adrenaline rush skill with with the other three with your choice, or a highwayman without riposte? Okay. In the wield, huh? I feel like the highwayman can still be pretty effective. I mean, adrenaline rush is good on the Hellion. I can pick the other three people. I would have to pick the Hellion with adrenaline rush. I mean, it's not a terrible ability, but if I can pick the rest of my party, I don't mind. Would you rather the game have more protection-based trinkets or more crit chance? Oh, okay. I would say the game has an okay amount of... Actually, that's a good question. I know focus rings are a big one. There's a couple of hero specifics that focus on critical chance. A lot of mods introduced new critical. But there's really not a lot of good protection-based trinkets. There's the tough ring, but that comes with its negatives. And honestly, other than putting that on the man-at-arms, man-at-arms were Vestals who I usually put tough rings on back in the past. So I'd say let's get a better protection-based trinket in there. Let's do that. Would you rather go to the Warrens and Inglorious Bastards comp, occultist, jester, bounty hunter, man-at-arms, or the Red Hook comp? Plague Doctor, Vestal, Highwayman, Crusader. And I'm going to the Warrens. Okay. I'm going to have to pick that Inglorious Bastards comp on the sole fact that occultist will be able to pull forward some Swine Skivers for me And then I can get 2 chances at a stun with the bounty hunter and the man-at-arms. Would you rather have quirk chance problems fixed? Please. But there will always be a chance that heroes will go missing permanently in Hamlet. Oh gosh, permanently. Holy crap. If they are resolved through or above, or leave it as is. I mean, every 20% equals 2%. Oh, jeez, dude. That's... I mean, permanently. I mean, that's a lot of game. I mean, even 20... 1 out of 50 times you come back with 20 stress, someone's just gone. As much as I've complained about it, permanently missing somebody would be pretty brutal. Because if they take your trinkets and everything, ooh, that would be. Now it is resolve 3 or above, but that's kind of my point. That's when you don't want them to go anymore. So begrudgingly, I will say keep it as is, but it is tempting. And finally, last one, not Darkest Dungeon related, but for Hidden Squids Gaming, would you rather me like your videos or comment on them just to see which is more valuable? I always like a good comment. I mean, likes are nice, but comments are obviously more interactive, so feel free to leave a comment. Would you rather fight both the Shuffling Heart and the Prophet? Okay, I got that one. And how would you do it? I also answered that. So I would bring 2 Shield Breakers, Highwayman, Vestal, and fight the Shuffling Heart and the Prophet. Would you rather end the mission with high stress on your hero or hero with a disease that you got from a monster? I would rather you end it with a disease because I could probably take them back in the next dungeon with like a Plague Doctor or Grave Robber or something like that and remove a disease. So I'd rather do that. Would you rather the Occultist min heal be 1 instead of 0 or the Arbalist can mark rank 1? Now when we say mark rank 1, do we mean like take out the crossbow and destroy rank 1? Because that would make her significantly better. I use the Occultist way more than the Arbalist, so my initial gut answer is, of course, make it a 1 instead of a 0. However, that Arbalist killing rank 1, if that's what was intended, is juicy. Out of my frequent use, I would go to Occultist, but I do think the Arbalist would step up a tier or 2 if she could shoot rank 1 with her ability. Would you rather take the Flagellant or Man-at-Arms on a date? Feel like the Flagellant would be a little too much for me, to be honest. Need to have that nice calm date with the Man-at-Arms, and he can just scream at me the whole time. It'll be a beautiful date. What is your Darkest Dungeon torch list? No DLC. Ooh, man, doing... I mean, the most comfortable I'd be in is the Ruins. I've done the Ruins so many times. The Cove is naturally more stress-based already, so I don't want to go somewhere where I'll probably reach Afflictions quickly. Screw it. Let's do the Warrens just so we can hear those pigs squealing in the background. A+ on the sound effects for that, so we would do the Warrens torchless. Would you rather have a healing trinket for the Occultist or a stun trinket for the Vestal? I'd much rather the Occultist to get one. I feel like a lot of his trinkets were they weren't the best unless you used a front row Cultist. I believe it's his Crimson Court set actually has a really boss trinket set for the stun and stuff. But it would have been nice if he would have had like a +2, so you never got a 0. But here we are. And finally, would you rather have multiple deaths Would you rather have multiple deaths on 3 champion runs in a row? Ooh, gosh, so we're talking at least 6 people dead. After week 60, or get a root canal. Holy cow. I've never had a root canal. I do believe I understand the process of that surgery. And losing 6 people or a root canal, I would say I would take losing 6 people. I almost said a root canal. Absolutely not. No, I would lose 6 people. The amount of time I would be decommissioned from the root canal would probably be way more than trying to get 6 to 8 individuals back. Would I hate losing 8 Resolve 5 or 6 people? Oh, absolutely. It'd be horrible, but at least I can get people back at around Resolve 3. But yeah, no, I certainly don't want to lose 8 people. Thank you so much for everyone who did that. If this becomes a popular series, I will think of other weird, fun questions. Feel free, everyone, to obviously hop in the Discord. I will once again post the Discord link into my comment and down below if you want to come in here and answer some of the questions. If you said, no way, why did you answer that way? Either let me know in the YouTube comment here or in the Discord. Thank you so much. Stick around and see you later.